Hi YouTube, and welcome to my first vlog. My name is Samantha. I'm a senior at Cal State University Fullerton, and this vlog is about my experience in Japan. From here on out, I'll be referring to myself as SamaSama, partly because it's fun and my YouTube name, but also because it's one of my favorite nicknames. Some of my friends, my American friends, when we started learning Japanese, started calling me SamaSama. And I told my friends in Japan about it, and some of them picked up on it, and it's kind of embarrassing but also kind of funny because Sama is the most respectful Japanese honorific you can add to the end of a name, but when you pair it with Sama, which is the beginning of Samantha, it becomes repeat, like SamaSama, and that's similar to a lot of Japanese onomatopoeia, which I find fun. So a little over a year ago, I hopped on a plane to Japan and spent the next 11 months studying abroad in Tokyo at Waseda University. But at that point, my journey had already been a year in the making. This vlog will detail my journey, not necessarily from start to finish, but you'll get the highlights, the good, the bad, the just okay, and some of the unexpected obstacles and things that I faced during the application process. Hopefully this will be able to help some of you who might want to study abroad or already have firm plans to study abroad. I talk to people, most of the time you hear about like the really cool stuff like the travel and how you make friends and the cool stuff you learned, and I'll talk about that. But I also think it's really important that people are prepared, and if you ever have any questions, please feel free to ask. That being said, let's get started. So step one for me, and probably everyone, was kind of obvious. Getting your passport. Because every form I filled out, I had to put my passport number. They all asked for it. You also can't actually get on the plane to a foreign country without it, which I'm sure you already know. My step number two was both annoying and not something I was aware I even had to do. I visited my school's study abroad office to make an appointment to see an advisor, but I wasn't able to because at CSUF, at least at the time that I was studying, or at least at the time I was applying to study abroad, everyone who wanted to study abroad had to attend a mandatory info session / orientation, not sure what to call it. For this orientation, you had to make an appointment and then you went. I was lucky. There was one the very next day, so I didn't have to push my plans back or anything, but if I hadn't been able to attend the one that was the next day, I would have to have gone to one like a week or two after. But yeah, I went to the orientation. There were a bunch of other students, but none of them were going to Japan, so a lot of the information was very general, nothing was really specific, and it didn't teach me anything I already hadn't learned on my own through like research and talking to people. This taught me something very early in the application process. 3 things to be more specific. 1. Even though I'd already talked to dozens of people about study abroad and studying abroad in Japan specifically, there were steps in this process which I didn't know about. 2. Taught me time management, because it would have pushed off all of my plans for at least a week or two, which would not have been good. And I'm not really great at time management in the first place, so having my set plans be changed, not really fun for me. 3. You need to be prepared to encounter a lot of repetitive information when you're going through this process. Most of the repetitive stuff will be important, but it's still repetitive and that gets boring after a while. So just be prepared for stuff like that. Oh, and before I forget, I also am doing a blog on Google. I'll put a link in the description. SamaSama out.